In the remote pine forests of Oregon, one man cared for injured eagles, hawks, and owls in peace until a power-hungry HOA president declared war on the sky itself. What began with a drone turned into a battle over law, privacy, and nature's right to exist. This isn't just a fight for birds, it's a fight for freedom. Stay with us. Because sometimes, justice doesn't fly and it rises from the ground. Wings spread wide. My name is Logan Whitmore. I'm 46 and I live on the edge of the world, or at least that's how it feels sometimes. My property in Kettle Rock, Oregon, stretches 6 wild acres bordered by federally protected forest. The only things louder than the wind here are the cries of the birds I care for. I rehabilitate raptors, eagles, hawks, owls, birds too proud to die and too broken to fly. For over a decade, this land has been my sanctuary and theirs. I've worked under federal licenses, kept to myself, and honored the conservation easement that protects this land as fiercely as the birds themselves do. I never expected the real threat would come from a woman with perfect teeth and a clipboard. Her name was Denise Caldwell. She moved into Evergreen Hills, the development just past my tree line, and was elected HOA president in less than a month. Retired corporate strategist. They said, efficient, detail-oriented, ruthless. I didn't live in Evergreen Hills, but my land technically brushed its easternmost edge, and that gave Denise all the excuse she needed. It started small. A violation notice duct taped to my gate in neon yellow. Unauthorized structure visible from common areas. I blinked at it, then laughed. The structure. A camouflaged wooden perch, designed for Talon, my aging bald eagle. Unless you flew a drone or climbed a pine tree, it was practically invisible. Denise flew drones. At first it was one, then another. Soon they were a swarm. They zipped over my trees, hovered above nests, and buzzed my feeding stations. Ember, my blind golden eagle, panicked and abandoned her eggs. Talon refused food for 2 days. I confronted Denise. I laid out my permits, cited the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, explained the fragility of the birds in recovery. She smiled like I'd just complimented her. "You're not above the rules, Mr. Whitmore," she said. "Your so-called sanctuary is violating community aesthetics." Then she walked away. The next morning, Talon struck back. As one of Denise's drones buzzed too low, he launched into the air, intercepted it mid-flight, and brought it down in a shower of plastic and wires that landed squarely in my tomato beds. It should have ended there. Instead, it escalated. Denise filed more notices. She accused me of weaponizing wildlife, of running an unlicensed aviary. She claimed I was a threat to neighborhood safety. Then she used HOA funds to buy a high-end surveillance drone with thermal and infrared sensors. Her stated reason: community security. I wasn't just being watched, I was being hunted. So I documented everything. I installed trail cams, collected GPS logs, and preserved drone wreckage. I even captured a disturbing image of one drone peering into a teenage girl's upstairs window. That was the moment everything shifted. The neighbors turned. One by one. They called me. Some whispered. Some cried. One asked for help installing blackout screens. Another offered me her HOA minutes in exchange for helping protect her dog from the noise. I wasn't defending birds anymore. I was defending a community too afraid to fight. That's when I called Nadine Reyes, former prosecutor. Sharp mind, sharper tongue. She reviewed the case, leaned back in her chair, and said, "We're not just pushing back. We're suing." She uncovered that all 6 drones had been purchased through Denise's personal accounts, then reimbursed with HOA funds. In the basement of the HOA office, we found a file marked Resident Observation Notes. My name appeared 15 times. The comments ranged from encourages nesting behavior to maybe coordinating with environmental agents. We had our evidence, but fate wasn't done writing plot twists. Drone 6, the newest model, violated a federally designated no-fly zone above Talon's perch. That one action triggered a federal investigation. The Department of the Interior got involved. So did Oregon Fish and Wildlife. Cease and desist orders came fast. State biologists confirmed repeated violations of wildlife protection laws. The HOA treasurer resigned. Denise went silent for 2 days. Then she called an emergency board meeting and accused me of colluding with the deep state. The final straw came from inside her own ranks. Margaret Allen, the longtime HOA secretary, stepped forward. She testified that Denise had directed targeted drone surveillance on at least 4 families. Not just me. She handed over internal emails. One read, "If we pressure Whitmore hard enough, we can trigger a fine escalation strategy. Force him out. We filed a federal civil suit Whitmore v. Evergreen Hills, HOA." The courtroom was packed on the first day. Journalists crowded the steps. Neighbors showed up early and stayed late. Denise walked in with a private attorney and no apology. We brought receipts, logs, flight records, testimony, and photographs of injured birds and frightened children. We played the drone footage. We showed maps of the no-fly zones and data from wildlife monitors. And when it came time to speak, I didn't rage. I told them about Ember, who had been making slow progress until Denise's drone caused her to abandon her only viable clutch. I told them about Talon, whose feathers still hadn't grown back after his last molt, because stress stunts regeneration. And then I said this: I chose a life that honors nature. I didn't think I'd have to fight to keep it safe from people. The judge ruled within a week. The HOA board was dissolved. Denise was fined heavily and barred from holding any future leadership role in any Oregon HOA. Her drones were confiscated. The remaining HOA funds were frozen, pending redistribution. As for me, with the settlement, I built a proper raptor rehabilitation center. I hired staff. I built flight cages large enough for full-speed exercises. We added a vet tech team and an education wing for visiting schools. And one day, not long after the ruling, we welcomed a new eagle. She was young, fierce, and missing feathers on one wing from tangled kite string. We named her Justice. Talon still watches from his perch. The neighbors still call for help with nests, with bird feeders, with window collisions. But there are no more drones, no more yellow notices, no more fear. Denise's house sat empty for months. It was finally bought by a retired park ranger who now volunteers at the center. Because, sometimes, nature doesn't fight back with claws or teeth. Sometimes, it uses the law, and when the sky itself is under attack, it takes more than wings to win. It takes someone willing to stand grounded, silent, and strong until the winds shift again.